Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If a woman locks eyes with you and your chest tightens before your mind catches up, that moment is not accidental, and tonight I'm going to tell you why it quietly changes everything you think you know about attraction. Before we go deeper, take 1 second to subscribe and like this video because what you're about to hear is rarely said out loud and it will sharpen how you read women forever. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist, but also as someone who has watched thousands of men misunderstand this exact signal. Direct eye contact from a woman is not simply interest, confidence, or curiosity. It is communication, it is regulation, it is testing safety, power, and emotional presence in the same breath. When she holds your gaze, her nervous system is asking a question before her words ever will. Can you stay grounded while being seen? Can you handle attention without trying to dominate it or escape it? Most men believe eye contact is about attraction alone, so they either overinflate it or dismiss it. Both reactions break the spell. What actually matters is how long she holds it, how relaxed her face is, and whether her body remains open while it happens. A steady gaze paired with a calm expression is often a signal of assessment. She is reading your emotional stability. A quick glance away, followed by another look, is curiosity mixed with uncertainty. A locked gaze with tension in her jaw can signal challenge rather than invitation. Here's the truth men are rarely told. Women use eye contact to feel the emotional temperature of a man. In that brief silence, she senses whether you are reactive, needy, aggressive, or centered. This is why some men feel women pull away even after strong eye contact. The look wasn't the green light. Your response to being seen was the test. If you rush to fill the silence, smile too hard, or stare her down, you communicate anxiety or dominance, not confidence. When you can meet her eyes, breathe, and remain present without performing, you transmit safety and self-possession. That is deeply attractive. Eye contact is not about taking something from her. It is about allowing her to see you without flinching. And most men have never been taught how to do that. Until today, this awareness begins reshaping your presence. When a woman holds direct eye contact, the meaning shifts depending on what is happening inside her body, not just inside her thoughts. As a psychologist, I want you to understand this from a nervous system perspective, because attraction is first biological, then emotional, and only later intellectual. Her eyes linger when her body feels activated yet safe. That balance matters more than confidence tricks or scripted lines. If her gaze is soft and unguarded, she is checking emotional compatibility. She is sensing whether your presence calms her or disrupts her. Women are constantly monitoring how men affect their internal state, often without realizing it consciously. Eye contact becomes the fastest way to read that impact. A man who feels internally steady creates a subtle slowing effect. Her breathing deepens, her shoulders drop. That is when interest grows. But if her eye contact is intense and unblinking, understand this carefully. That is not always attraction. Sometimes it is evaluation mixed with defense. She is holding her ground, unconsciously asking whether you will attempt to overpower the moment. Men who mistake this for desire often overstep. They talk too much, they move too fast, and the connection collapses before it forms. There is another layer most men miss. Prolonged eye contact can also be a woman regulating herself through you. When she is emotionally stimulated, your calm gaze helps her stabilize. This is why presence matters more than cleverness. You are not there to impress her nervous system. You are there to anchor it. Notice what happens inside you when she looks at you. Do you tense your jaw? Do you lean forward? Do you hold your breath? She feels those micro shifts instantly. Women are exquisitely sensitive to incongruence. If your body says insecurity while your face pretends confidence, the eyes expose you. The strongest response is quiet steadiness. Let your face remain relaxed. Let your breathing stay slow. Allow moments of silence without rushing to earn approval. This communicates self-trust. and self-trust is the foundation of attraction. Eye contact reveals truth before language interferes. When you learn to stay present under her gaze, you stop chasing signals and start becoming one. That mastery changes how women experience you, because calm presence creates desire, safety, and respect simultaneously, without effort, manipulation, or performance, only grounded awareness and emotional self-control that most men never learn to embody consistently fully. There is a moment during direct eye contact when a woman decides whether you are emotionally mature or emotionally risky. That decision happens faster than you think, and it is not based on looks, money, or status. It is based on how your nervous system responds to intimacy without words. Most men never realize they fail here because the failure is silent. When her eyes meet yours and stay there, your mind may start racing. You wonder what she's thinking. You search for the right move. That internal noise is exactly what she senses. Women are not just looking at you, they are feeling you. If your inner state is chaotic, she experiences you as unstable, even if you say all the right things. Here is a psychological truth few men hear. Eye contact creates instant emotional closeness, and closeness amplifies whatever is already inside you. Confidence becomes magnetism. Insecurity becomes pressure. If you are uncomfortable being seen, she feels that discomfort and instinctively pulls back to protect herself. This is why some men notice women making eye contact first, then later becoming distant. The look was not a promise, it was an opening. What you brought into that opening determined whether it stayed open or quietly closed. There is also something deeper happening. When a woman maintains eye contact, she is often checking for emotional leadership, not control, not dominance, leadership. Can you remain calm without withdrawing? Can you stay warm without clinging? Can you be present without demanding anything in return? These traits signal psychological safety, which is the soil where attraction grows long-term. Men who stare too intensely communicate hunger or competition. Men who look away too quickly communicate avoidance or self-doubt. The middle ground is awareness. You meet her eyes, you allow a soft focus, and you let the moment exist without trying to convert it into validation. If you smile, let it be slow and subtle. If you speak, let your voice be grounded. If you say nothing, let the silence feel intentional rather than awkward. Silence handled well is one of the strongest emotional signals a man can send. This is not about technique, it is about internal regulation. The man who is comfortable being seen does not rush, does not perform, and does not chase meaning from a single look. He trusts his presence. When you embody that calm, eye contact stops being a test you fear and becomes a connection you allow. And that shift alone changes how women experience you at a fundamental psychological level. Most men completely misread what prolonged eye contact truly communicates. They assume it's always about desire, but desire is only one possible outcome of this silent communication. Before desire can even emerge, she is assessing your emotional clarity, your boundaries, and your ability to remain steady under attention. She is asking a question that words cannot capture. Can I trust him to be present without overreacting, controlling, or fleeing? Think about it. When a woman stares at you without looking away, she is creating a tiny emotional pressure cooker. She is subtly exposing herself, and in doing so, she is testing your reaction. Most men respond instinctively. They lean forward, they talk too much, they try to make her laugh, or they freeze entirely. None of these reactions communicates mastery. None of them shows that you can hold space for her presence without losing yourself. Here's the hidden truth. Eye contact from a woman is a mirror. Her gaze reflects back your inner state. If you feel nervous, she feels it. If you feel calm, she feels that too. That reflection is instantaneous and unconscious, and it often determines whether the interaction escalates or collapses. Men who understand this become magnetic without even trying. They don't have to force attraction. They simply exist in a way that feels safe, strong, and emotionally available. The duration of the gaze matters, but more important is your response in that duration. If she holds your eyes for a few seconds and you flinch, shift, or overcompensate, she interprets that as emotional weakness or instability. If you stay grounded, relaxed, and aware, you communicate confidence and self-possession. It's not arrogance, it's psychological competence. This is why some men naturally draw women in with nothing more than their presence. They have learned to tolerate being truly seen without fear. There is also a subtle rhythm to how women use eye contact. A brief glance followed by a lingering look is curiosity. A steady, soft gaze is comfort and interest. A sharp, intense stare can be challenge or evaluation. Every nuance is a form of silent language. The men who decode it correctly gain an advantage that no line, compliment, or gesture can match. Finally, understand this. Your internal state dictates the outcome of these moments far more than any external action. Eye contact is not about impressing her. It's about reflecting the best version of your own emotional self. When you achieve that balance, the connection is no longer superficial. It becomes magnetic, irresistible, and psychologically profound. The power isn't in her eyes. It's in your ability to hold your own under them. There's a moment in eye contact where everything unspoken becomes louder than words. When a woman holds your gaze, she is not just seeing you. She is measuring your presence. She is sensing whether you can handle the weight of being fully observed without flinching. Most men never realize this because they focus on reading her instead of managing themselves. That's the trap. The truth is, her eyes test your emotional gravity more than they test her attraction to you. Imagine it like this. Her stare is a probe, a gentle vibration that checks your emotional density. If you react with tension, fidgeting, or forced charm, she feels instability. If you react with calm steadiness, she experiences security. That subtle shift is everything. Women are wired to detect micro-expressions, micro-tremors in voice, and changes in posture, even ones you are barely aware of. Every hesitation, every flicker of anxiety whispers loudly about who you are under pressure. This is where most men fail. They see her look as a reward and try to grab it. They interpret it as interest and immediately escalate with words or movements. The moment they do, the magic evaporates. The woman's gaze was never a guarantee of desire. It was a challenge to presence. The men who succeed are the ones who stay, breathe, and allow the silence between you to exist. They convey something far more powerful than words, unshakable emotional stability. Here's the subtle psychology. Prolonged eye contact creates intimacy instantly, but intimacy amplifies your inner state. If you carry tension, insecurity, or neediness, intimacy magnifies it, and she unconsciously retreats. If you carry calm, confidence, and grounded energy, intimacy magnifies that too, making you magnetic. This is why mastering your reaction is more important than trying to decode her signals. Your internal calibration dictates the emotional outcome. There's also a deeper layer most men never notice. Women use eye contact to gauge whether a man respects boundaries without enforcing them. Can you be attentive without overwhelming? Can you be present without pressuring? Can you allow her autonomy while still holding your own power? If you answer yes in silence, she feels it, even if she never speaks it aloud. Finally, understand this. The strongest connections are not built through words, gestures, or charm. They are built through presence. Eye contact is the gateway to that presence, and presence cannot be faked, it must be embodied. When you meet her gaze with grounded awareness, you stop chasing approval, you stop performing, and you start becoming a man women naturally lean into, trust, and desire. That is the invisible power of a look. There is a layer of truth about eye contact that most men never grasp. It's not just about her seeing you, it's about you seeing yourself through her eyes. When a woman holds a gaze, she triggers reflection. She reflects back your inner state in a way that words cannot. Men often panic here because they feel exposed, but the exposure is not a threat, it's an opportunity. How you respond reveals the real measure of your emotional maturity. Her eyes are a silent mirror, and your reaction to that mirror defines the trajectory of the connection. Do you tighten your chest? Do you rush to break the intensity with a joke? Or do you let your body relax, your breathing slow, and your mind settle into presence? That is the difference between men who attract naturally and men who chase endlessly. The first group understands that calm steadiness under scrutiny is magnetic. The second group mistakes signals for approval or desire and loses themselves in performance. Most men miss this because they are trained to act rather than to be. Women, however, are instinctively tuned to presence over action. When her gaze lingers, she is not inviting verbal responses. She is inviting emotional competence. The question she asks with her eyes is simple but profound. Can you hold yourself while being fully seen? Everything else, looks, charm, money, becomes secondary if your answer is no. There's a subtle but critical difference between being noticed and being understood. Eye contact bridges that gap. A woman's gaze can communicate warmth, curiosity, assessment, or challenge in a single, unbroken look. The men who misread this try to guess her intent. The men who understand it don't guess. They adjust themselves. They ground their energy, soften their expression, and remain emotionally coherent. That adjustment is invisible to the eye but palpable in experience. And here's the psychological twist most men never hear. The longer the gaze, the more she is testing containment. Not of her, but of you. She wants to see if your presence can tolerate intensity without spilling into anxiety or forcefulness. Your ability to maintain composure creates a silent magnetism that no words can replicate. This is why mastery of eye contact is transformative. It teaches you to self-regulate, to embody confidence without arrogance, and to communicate safety without effort. The man who meets a woman's eyes and remains grounded doesn't need tricks, routines, or scripted lines. He doesn't need to chase her attention. He simply becomes someone worth her attention because he can hold his own under the weight of being truly seen. Here's the final truth most men never hear. Eye contact is a silent negotiation of power, presence, and trust. When a woman looks at you directly, she is not asking for permission or validation. She is testing whether you can exist fully in your own skin while being witnessed. Most men interpret it as a signal to act, to talk, to charm, to perform. That is exactly what undermines them. The men who succeed are the ones who do nothing externally, but everything internally. This is why mastering eye contact is a form of self-mastery. Every flicker of anxiety, every shift in posture, every hesitation in breath communicates volumes to her subconscious. Your body speaks before your words ever do. A man who can meet her gaze, breathe calmly, and remain emotionally stable is signaling competence, strength, and safety all at once. That silent communication is far more powerful than charm, humor, or superficial confidence. Most men fail because they chase results instead of presence. They want to interpret the look, manipulate the outcome, or force attraction. But a woman's eyes are not a puzzle to solve. They are a mirror to hold. When you can stay grounded under her gaze, you become magnetic without trying. You are no longer responding to her. You are presenting yourself fully, and that is irresistible. There's also an unconscious psychological rhythm happening. Women intuitively scan for tension versus calm, need versus self-possession, and fear versus confidence. Each unspoken detail is a test. If you pass, the interaction deepens naturally. If you fail, she withdraws, often silently, leaving men confused about what they did wrong. Understanding this is like having a secret key to human connection, a key most men never receive. Finally, remember this. True attraction is less about what you do and more about who you are when she sees you. Eye contact is a direct line to that truth. It strips away pretense, performance, and distraction. It exposes both vulnerability and strength. And the man who learns to hold himself with calm, presence, and grounded confidence under her gaze not only attracts women, he transforms the way women experience him at the deepest, almost primal level. The power of a look is not in her eyes. It is in your ability to remain steady, self-possessed, and fully present. That is the skill almost no man has mastered, and it changes everything. From the first glance to the lasting impression that lingers long after she looks away. When you embody this, you stop chasing, stop guessing, and start commanding connection in the most profound, invisible way possible.